Get your popcorn ready and adjust your bell bottoms. We're headed back to a decade of disco, celluloid, and the birth of the modern multiplex. Here is your high-energy tour of the Toronto cinema scene from 1970 to 1979. 1970, the year of the multiplex. The decade kicked off with a massive shift in how we watched movies, moving away from single screens toward the more is more philosophy. January 30th, 20th Century Theaters kicks things off by opening the Uptown 2 and 3. March 20th, history is made. The Backstage 1 and 2 opens, officially creating Canada's very first multiplex cinema. August 5th, North York gets some love as National General Cinemas opens the Fairview Mall Cinema, with famous players handling the booking. September 16th, the Odeon Albion in Etobicoke doubles the fun by adding its second screen. November 20th, the Videotheque screen makes its debut at Cine City. Identity shifts. The Allenby transforms into the Roxy, and the iconic Lowe's is rebranded as the Young. The final curtain, closures. The Century, briefly the Apollon, the Beach, and the Parkdale all dim their lights for the last time. 1971, IMAX and adult undergrounds. From high-tech wonders at Ontario Place to cheeky workarounds for the censors, 1971 was nothing if not diverse. May 5th, a legend is born. The Cinesphere opens at Ontario Place, sporting the cutting-edge IMAX system straight from Expo 70 in Osaka. June 10th, Mississauga joins the party with the opening of the Credit Cinema. August 22nd, the Apollon gets a new lease on life, reopening as the Roxy. September 27th, the Pussycat Theater opens, playing adult content on videotape, specifically to dodge the pesky censors. October 15th, Famous Players expands in Etobicoke with the Skyline Twin Cinema. October 22nd, double the trouble. Cinema 2002 opens right next to Cinema 2000, specializing in adult films. November 12th marked a legendary moment for Quebec cinema, with a bit of a twist. The world premiere of Mon Oncle Antoine shifted to Cine City at the 11th hour when its original Montreal theater remained under construction. Despite the venue swap, a star was born. December 2nd, Allied Theaters brings the Eastwood Theater back into action. Expansion. Famous Players opens the Oshawa Duel. The final curtain, closures. We said goodbye to the Palace in Etobicoke and the Roxy Cooksville in Mississauga. 1972, rebrands and reopenings. This was a year of out with the old and in with the new, as several classic spots were gutted, rebuilt, or given a racy new reputation. January 26th, the short-lived Jerry Lewis Cinema opens its doors in Mississauga. May 12th, the 21st Century Love opens, but only lasts until December. June 10th, the Odeon Highland gets a glow-up and reopens as a 2-screen venue. July 7th, the Roxy gets budget-friendly, becoming the 99-cent Roxy. July 13th, Scarborough gets a new destination with the Bijou Cinema 1 and 2. September, the old Baronet Theater is reborn as the Eve, an adult cinema run by Famous Players and Cinepix. October 6th, the Brighton Theater reopens to the public. October 10th, after the Jerry Lewis Cinema failed, Premiere steps in to reopen the space as the Dixie 5. October 20th, a busy day. The New Yorker becomes the new Tavali, specializing in adult films, and the Kensington Cinema reopens at the site of the old King Theater. The final curtain, closures. February 23rd, the Runnymede converted to Bingo. October 31st, the Downtown 20th Century also closed. The Eastwood, the Pussycat, the Silent Cinema, and the Imperial, which closed for a massive rebuilding project.
1973, the rise of the Sixplex in the E-Empire. This was a massive year for famous players who seemed to be marking their territory with both blockbuster houses and a very specific naming convention for their spicier venues. Canadian Theatres starts the year by taking over the Plaza Theatre in Oakville. April 20th, Famous Players cuts the ribbon on the Bromelia 3. June 15th, the Capri gets a makeover and reopens as the Eden. It served as a companion to the Eve, showing adult films. Fun fact, did you know Famous Players had a naming theme? All their adult-oriented theaters started with the letter E. Think Eros, Eve, and Eden. June 28th, the legendary Imperial 6 opens. It didn't just show movies, it became a goldmine, eventually becoming the highest-grossing cinema in the Famous Players circuit. August 31st, 20th Century Theatres joins the party, opening the Sheraton Center Twin Cinemas. September 22nd, a bittersweet day as Odeon closes the Carlton. This marked the end of an era. It was the very last cinema to employ a live organist. October 5th, Mississauga gets a boost with the opening of the Square One Cinemas 4. November 3rd, the tiny but mighty Cinematheque opens its doors with a cozy capacity of just 136 seats. Curtains closed in 73. Bay Ridge's Drive-In, Pickering, Thorncliffe, North York, Mount Dennis, Odeon Oakville, Tivoli. 1974, Identity Crises and Bingo Halls. Change was the only constant in 74, with theaters swapping names, owners, and even industries. April 5th, the Roxy in Markham decides on a new vibe, becoming the Town Theatre. June 21st, a classic returns. The Tivoli at 651 and a half Yonge reverts to its old identity, the New Yorker. August 9th, Famous Players leans into international flair, reopening the St. Clair 1 and 2 to showcase Italian cinema. December 20th, Canadian Theatre opens the Varsity Twin just in time for the holidays. New ownership. 20th Century hands over the keys to the Kingsway to new owners. From film to B12, in a sign of the times, the Palace and Valm theaters are converted into bingo halls under Famous Players management. Oakville Revival. The old Odeon Oakville gets a second lease on life, reopening as the Playhouse Theatre. Curtains closed in 74. Cinematheque, gone too soon. Birchcliff. 1975, the twinning trend. By 1975, the industry was all about expansion and twinning, splitting big rooms into multiple screens to keep the seats filled. October 10th, 20th Century brings the Park Cinema back to life. October 24th, lights back on, the Center Theatre reopens for business. December 19th, Scarborough gets more options as Famous Players expands the Cedar Brae 2 into a 4-screen complex. December 25th, a Christmas gift for cinephiles, Odeon reopens the Humber as a twin cinema. Oakville update. Odeon doubles down on the Plaza in Oakville, officially twinning the location. Curtains closed in 1975. Acropolis, Capitol, Lakeshore, Cinecity, Donlands, Famous Players, Kensington.
1976, the year of the multi-language monster. This year was all about expansion and some very linguistically talented apes. April 9th, Famous Players kicks things off by opening the Plaza 1 and 2. June, a quick identity swap. The Plaza Theatre in Oshawa officially transforms into the Highland Theatre. October 8th, the Odeon Fairlawn gets an upgrade, reopening as a flashy twin cinema. October 14th, the Malton Theatre at Westwood Mall makes its grand debut, or at least hits the premiere listings for the first time. December 17th, the Sheraton North York 4 opens its doors, its claim to fame, showing King Kong in Italian, French, and English all at once. December 22nd, just in time for the holidays, the Odeon Finch 3 opens in North York. The final curtain, closures. We said goodbye to the St. Clair 2, FP, the Glendale, 20th Century, the Northwest Drive-In in Scarborough, and the original Plaza in Oshawa, Odeon. 1977. Fresh starts and fine arts. From classic films to drive-in doubles, 1977 was a year of reinvention. January 6th, a big day for cinema. The Ritz Theater reopens at the site of the old Bluebell, and the Crown Theater officially opens in North York. January 28th, the famous Players Golden Mile in Scarborough doubles the fun by splitting into 2 screens. February 25th, Famous Players stays busy, opening the Pickering Sheridan 3. May 6th, perfect for summer nights, the 7 and 27 Drive-In reopens as a twin drive-in by 20th Century Theaters.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away,
Here they come!
Star Wars,
Coming in too fast!
an adventure unlike anything on your planet. It's an epic of heroes and villains and aliens from 1,000 worlds. Star Wars, rated PG.
December 21st, the Bayview Village 4 brings more options to North York. New Horizons. The Odeon Danforth gets a musical makeover as the Music Hall, the Fine Arts Theater opens, and the Screening Room launches, dedicated exclusively to movies over 20 years old. The final curtain, closures. We said goodbye to the Center, Cinema Lumiere, the Northwest Drive-In in Etobicoke, and the Odeon Coronet. 1978. Rebrands and record growth. 1978 saw major transformations from adults-only venues to prestige first-run houses. January 7th, the old Odeon Danforth gets yet another lease on life, reopening as the Rex Danforth. January 20th, North York's Fairview Cinemas reopens with a new 2-screen layout. February 25th, the Metro Theater reopens, this time catering to the adult movie crowd. March 17th, lucky St. Patrick's Day, the Young Theater is rebranded by 20th Century as the Elgin, shifting focus to big-budget first-run movies. June 2nd and 20th, the 400 Drive-In expands rapidly, opening its second screen and then its third screen just weeks later. September 28th, the old New Yorker gets a fresh start as the Festival Theater, and the Richmond Hill Theater officially reopens. The final curtain, closures. We lost the Bijou 2 in Scarborough, the cinema at TD Center, and the Odeon Coronet. 1979, world records and the birth of an empire. The decade ended with a bang as the very concept of the Cineplex was born. February 16th, the Eden is reimagined as the famous Players Bloor. March 2nd, the Georgetown Cinema 3 welcomes its first audiences. April 19th, the Eaton Cineplex opens with a staggering 18 screens, a world record at the time. While a Cineplex chain existed in Texas in 1975, this was the official birth of the brand that would change Canadian moviegoing forever. December, the old Century Theater finds its groove again, reopening as the Music Hall. The Oshawa and North York Shuffle. The Crown Theater in North York, Premiere, reopens for adult films, and Cinema Lumiere makes a comeback. Meanwhile, the Oshawa Duel expands to 4 screens, and the Multiplex in Oshawa opens, ironically, with only 1 screen. The 70s completely changed how Toronto went to the movies, from 1-screen palaces to 18-screen wonders.